Right now on ABC 10 News at 4, the growing calls for consequences after video captured tortillas thrown at the mostly Latino basketball team from Orange Glen High School. What community activists are now demanding against the Coronado basketball team and some of their fans. Plus new resources to help Border Patrol crack down on human smugglings along our shores. This after a major increase in smuggling attempts over the ocean. And on Capitol Hill, the Senate just made a major decision on voting rights, how the GOP managed to block the bill from moving forward.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Steve Atkinson. We are closely following the aftermath and the calls for action after tortillas were thrown at Orange Glen High School players, a mostly Latino team, after a basketball game against Coronado. Our ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena is live at Coronado Union District headquarters, where the board is having an emergency meeting right now to consider what happens next. Lindsay.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. Parents, community leaders, and students are expected to pack that emergency school board meeting. The board is expected to decide how to handle that tortilla throwing incident that happened after Saturday night's championship basketball game. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco is live outside the school board with the demands now being made.
Hi, Lindsay. That meeting will be held in that back room, and it is expected to be packed. Many people coming here to demand the Coronado coach be fired, the team forfeit the win, punishment for any students, and they also want the police to investigate what happened as a possible hate crime.
The tortilla curtain has been brought down.
Enrique Morones with Gente Unida stood with community leaders, parents, teachers, and students outside Coronado High School. They're demanding consequences for the people responsible for throwing tortillas after Saturday night's CIF championship basketball game.
And it was pure and blatant racism and hate.
Video captures the moments after Orange Glen High School lost to Coronado. Tortillas can be seen getting hurled from the Coronado side, flying in the direction of the predominantly Hispanic team's players. Andres Rivera says his son plays for Orange Glen.
But this whole chaos was created by Coach LaPerry. It was disgusting. I'm calling for his firing.
Orange Glen's head coach told 10 News before the tortillas were tossed, Coronado's head coach started yelling and cursing at him. Many people are now calling for Coach J.D. LaPerry to be fired.
He's backing away as he's cussing our team out, just waiting for the tortillas to come. It was planned. It was not an accident.
The coach hasn't responded to our request for comment, but tweeted, quote, "Unfortunately, a community member brought tortillas and distributed them, which was unacceptable and racist in nature. I do not condone this behavior." Some have said tortilla throwing is a way of celebrating, a tradition at some schools like Texas Tech. But community activists say what happened should be investigated as a possible hate crime.
Ultimately, we blame the leadership for nurturing a culture of systemic racism and white privilege. This was a premeditated act, and all individuals should be charged with inciting a riot.
Coronado police are looking into what happened. They have only said that an adult male brought the tortillas to the game. The superintendent has promised swift action. Again, the meeting gets started at 5 o'clock. We'll have another crew inside and bring you the very latest. Reporting live in Coronado, Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Meanwhile, the superintendent of the Escondido Union High School District did release a statement following the incident. She called it, quote, ugly and unacceptable racist behavior. She added, quote, "We do not tolerate behavior that seeks to marginalize, diminish, or devalue a person for any reason, including race, religion, or gender identity. We must all work together, staff, students, parents, and families, to look head on at divisive behavior, call it out, and work to eliminate it." She says that tonight, the Board of Education will discuss a resolution to denounce racism, racial discrimination, and the district's support for equity, safety, and the well-being of all students. We'll, of course, have a crew up in the North County covering that as well. For now, we are live in Coronado. Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News. Steve.
Lindsay, thank you. And coming up at 4:30, we're going to have more on the schools across the country that have made tossing these tortillas a tradition and explain how it differs from what happened in this particular case. Also tonight, the local Border Patrol is showing off its newly added boats to help spot smugglers. Agents told our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner that there has been a major increase in human smuggling at sea and it's expected to get worse.
Border Patrol said they brought in 2 of these vessels and that they can go about 50 miles per hour and stop and turn on a dime. On Shelter Island Tuesday, Border Patrol introduced its newly formed Marine Unit. These 25-foot boats designed to help patrol the water for vessels smuggling in drugs and humans.
As we have seen in recent events where lives have tragically been lost, these organizations treat smuggled people as a commodity, showing little to no regard for the lives of those they are exploiting for profit.
In May, 3 people lost their lives in a wreck off the coast of Point Loma, and another person died when a panga boat capsized off the shore of La Jolla. Tuesday, agents shared photos and videos of smuggling boats and interceptions that have happened in the area. According to agents, in fiscal year 2020, there were 309 maritime events with 1,273 arrests. In fiscal year 2021 to date, there have been 200 events with 1,260 arrests.
Our maritime apprehensions for fiscal year 2021 are certain to exceed the 1,273 apprehensions we had last year.
Agents said drug interceptions have gone down, but smugglers are bringing in more dangerous drugs than what they brought in the past, which was typically marijuana. Such was the case last summer near Carlsbad.
In that incident, agents found 14 backpacks containing 439 pounds of methamphetamine, 7.5 pounds of heroin, and 21 pounds of fentanyl.
Border Patrol has used boats in the past. These ones will operate alongside partner vessels that are run by both Customs and Border Protection's air and marine operations and by the U.S. Coast Guard. Border Patrol added that they brought these vessels in about 3 weeks ago and they have not been used yet in any anti-maritime smuggling interceptions. Reporting from Shelter Island, Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
Also tonight, Scripps Health is now hit with a class action lawsuit after that cyber attack that shut down the hospital system's network. That ransomware attack happened last month, and the suit claims Scripps failed to protect patients' personal and medical information from cyber criminals. Data from more than 150,000 patients may have been compromised in that attack. The suit also accuses Scripps Health of negligence and invasion of privacy as the result of the attack. It took several weeks for Scripps Health to get its network back online. Scripps says it cannot comment on the pending litigation. The White House Coronavirus Task Force is touting several accomplishments and milestones in the fight against COVID-19. That includes COVID cases and deaths being down by over 90% since President Biden took office. But the country will fall short of the president's July 4th deadline of having 70% of adults with at least 1 dose. The White House says 70% of Americans 30 and older have received at least 1 shot, but the numbers are lagging with young people ages 18 to 26.
We are redoubling our efforts to ensure we are targeting, we are focusing on, we are making the vaccine more accessible for those age groups.
And that is also crucial with the threat of that Delta variant that's out there. It's believed to be more transmissible and causes serious illness. Health officials reiterate that the COVID-19 vaccines are effective against the Delta variant. And this just in, thousands of asylum seekers will be allowed to return to the U.S. to have their cases heard. The Associated Press reports that registration starts tomorrow for those who were subject to the Remain in Mexico policy and had their cases dismissed or denied for failing to appear in court. The AP says the majority of the 7,000 dismissed cases were in San Diego. Tens of thousands were mostly denied in Texas. Members of the Biden administration say this is an effort to give people another opportunity if they couldn't attend their court hearing because of the now overturned U.S. policy.
A new analysis shows just how bad it got in nursing homes last year during the pandemic. Deaths were up 32% from the previous year among Medicare patients in nursing homes. These are considered excess deaths above what you typically see in a year. This is according to a report from the Department of Health and Human Services. Nearly half of Medicare patients in nursing homes had or likely had COVID. There were 2 notable spikes in deaths at the beginning of the pandemic and just before vaccines became available. Driver habits and traffic have been anything but predictable over the last year and a half. Dangerous driving and fatalities increased during the pandemic based on volume, and now we're learning disparities that exist in nearly every sector of American life are also present on U.S. roadways. Check out this graph put together by the Governor's Highway Safety Association based on federal data. Taking a look at race and ethnicity, American Indian and Alaska Native populations are dying at a far higher rate in both vehicle and pedestrian crashes in every single category looked at, from police pursuits to alcohol being involved, day or nighttime crashes. Black Americans were second in many categories. These figures are based on deaths compared to population from 2015 through 2019.
The lack of investment, except that it's multiplied because of the way that tribal governments in particular are separated out from the states and communities that surround them.
The GHSA points to underfunding in these communities, not only in transportation, but in other critical areas like housing, public safety, and healthcare. The agency proposes a number of things in addition to more money to help reduce traffic death disparities, including treating traffic crashes as a health disparity issue, improving diverse representation in transportation and traffic safety agencies, culturally sensitive safety education campaigns, and taking a more unbiased approach to traffic enforcement.
And so bringing people from these communities into the highway safety planning process, ensuring you have those diverse voices so they can let everyone know what they need and the best way to deliver it.
The proposed infrastructure plan includes money to improve and reconnect communities of color cut off by the U.S. interstate system and past federal funding priorities.